Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a brand new discussion video. Today we're going to talk about the Xbox 360, and the topic is about how I'm going to prepare my Xbox 360 collection for the future, because Microsoft is shutting down the marketplace for the Xbox 360 here at the end of July this year. And so that's going to take away access to being able to buy digital titles and lots of DLC and games that'll be lost forever, that are not going to be backed up at all. While Microsoft is only going to keep games that are backwards compatible on the Series X and Xbox One that you can still buy from there. And even that's not a guarantee, as there's been so many games that have been delisted over the years. So I'm just talking about how I'm working towards backing up stuff and making sure that I can always enjoy my Xbox 360 collection in the future, because I know that Microsoft will not keep the servers up for these games forever, the update files, that kind of thing. So it's definitely, I'm working towards steps that I can make sure that I can enjoy my 360 collection. I have a little list here, written down some notes so I can keep myself what I want to talk to and make sure I don't forget anything, because I do that sometimes. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts as well. Feel free to participate in today's discussion about the 360. Is there anything you guys are doing to prepare your Xbox 360 collection for the future? Feel free to leave a comment, or if this is one of those topics you'd like to film a video response to, that'd be awesome. I just ask you let me know about it so I can check it out, and then I'll post a link to your video response as a comment so other people can check it out as well. So the first thing I'm working on with Xbox 360 is finishing up my wanted list, and I've been doing a great job of that this year. I've been going on to eBay and my local game stores, and I've been looking at getting games I want to add to my collection before the marketplace shuts down, and because I love having physical games. So I've been buying quite a few games. Now, what's been nice is I've been able to sell a bunch of my unwanted PlayStation 2 and Xbox games and PS1 stuff, and just getting rid of a bunch of trash titles. And I've been able to get several $100s from selling that stuff. I also was able to been selling stuff to some friends here, which has been really big help. I'm able to get them a good deal on games, and thanks to their purchases, I was able to buy some games I wanted for my collection. So I have almost everything I want. I actually picked up quite a bit of stuff recently, as I've been discovering new games that I didn't know about, or games that I had forgotten about, because I have been watching a lot, and I mean a lot, of Xbox 360 collection videos from all over the world. I've been watching tons of the different lists of, like, these are the best games you should try out, or this is some good racing games, some good first-person shooters, RPGs, horror games. I've just been watching and consuming a lot of Xbox 360 YouTube videos lately, so I pretty much watched them all. And I always check them out whenever new ones pop up, and sometimes I discover, like, oh, that's a cool game, yeah, I should look into getting that. Or, nah, I'm not really into that game. So I've been watching and consuming a lot just to make sure that I'm not missing out on anything that's really awesome. So I am working on finishing up the set. I still have a list of titles that I want to add to my collection that I'm always looking for. So I'm looking to get those. Now, what really sucks, though, is the Xbox 360 is super hot and popular right now, so some titles have just jumped up and quadrupled in price, and some of them are games that I had just bought this year, and I couldn't believe how much they've jumped in price, like 3-4 times what I paid for them already, because the console is so popular right now. I mean, it's a good thing that it's popular, but it's also bad because the demand is so high on some of these titles. And of course, there's also the negative of, whenever people see dollar signs in their eyes for games, they go crazy, and you got some resellers that are, oh, this game's becoming popular now, so I'm going to buy 50 copies on eBay, and then I'm going to relist them for 5 times what they go for. And I've seen that happening with some games, like that Import Tuner Challenge now is exploding in price. That Autobahn police game, that thing has just gone crazy stratosphere. So it really sucks that some of these games are getting into that unobtainable level. Hopefully, if you wait for some of these titles for the hotness to go down, maybe they will go down in price in the future. But sadly, I think some of these titles, especially if they had really, really small print runs for the 360, I just don't ever see them coming down. So some of those may be games that you won't be able to obtain physically, so maybe you might try to buy them digitally before the marketplace shuts down. So I'm glad that I started doing this journey this year back in January, and I was able to get some of these games before the prices got too high. So that does suck, though, that I know some people aren't going to be able to get some of the games they want. But a majority of the library, your Gears of War series, your Halos and Forzas and stuff, a lot of those are just going to stay affordable. So it's not like every single 360 game is going to go up in the world, but there are a handful of them that are just really going up in price, and so it does suck that some people won't be able to attain those. So I'm really glad I started this before how crazy the 360 is going to. And I knew that's what was going to happen. As soon as they announced last year that the marketplace is going to shut down, people usually wait to the last minute with this kind of stuff, and that's what we're seeing now is more videos are being released on YouTube about the 360 and all these awesome games. And so now the demand is skyrocketing, and people are making videos like crazy, and it's just drawing a lot of attention to the Xbox 360. My local game stores have been selling 360s like crazy, like the consoles. Like, they've been having a hard time keeping even the consoles in stock, and the games have been selling. Like, a lot of them here had like 2 or 3 cases, and the one store's down to just having 1 case. They've sold hundreds of games lately. People are just really loving the 360. So it's awesome that people are loving the system, but it also kind of sucks with how much demand and attention is coming to it. And it's definitely one of those things, I would say, that if you want to complete your goals for the 360, I would definitely start working on it now rather than waiting too long, because some of these prices just may become unattainable for you. So that does really suck. So I did want to, talk about finishing up that wanted list. Next thing I want to do is double check the games I own for DLC that's actually came with them with like codes and stuff, because sometimes I bought a game new or even bought used, and I found a lot of times that people actually didn't redeem the DLC codes. And I found that in some of my games. You'd open up and like, oh, here's a weapon pack or something. I might as well try it. And oh, cool, someone didn't redeem it. And so I do want to go through all my games that have DLC codes that are with them and make sure that the codes are redeemed if they weren't redeemed, because I have found several games like that I bought used and the codes never got redeemed. So I want to make sure I redeem those before the marketplace shuts down. So I'm going to go through those games just to make sure that all of the codes have been used either by me or someone else, just to make sure. It would suck to find a code that wasn't used and then it was expired because the marketplace shut down. So I want to make sure I do that. I'm also going to go onto the marketplace and make sure that I have all the DLC I want for games. Now, obviously, I'm not going to buy DLC for every single game and spend $3,000 or something, because I already do own most of the DLC I want for games. But I'm going to go through and make a double check here before July and just check, like, do I have this? Yes. Do I have that? No. And get anything that I am missing. I want to obtain the last of the DLC for these games before they're completely delisted forever. So I'm going to go through, okay, this is what I need or I have, and just make sure that I'm verified 100% that I have everything I want, because once that marketplace is gone, there's going to be no chances to go back and get it a second time. Now, there are people who are backing it up on like servers and stuff, and if you have your modded 360, you'll be able to download it. But if you want to get it through Microsoft's marketplace for your account, you're going to have to do it before the marketplace shuts down at the end of July. So I'm making sure I do that. I'm also going to check the marketplace for if there's any digital-only titles like that Call of Duty Classics game or some of those Outrun games. There are some of these games that were never released physically. They were just released digitally, and some like indie titles and stuff. So I'm going to make sure, do I have everything I want to get before that's gone and won't be able to download them again. Now, I do have most of the digital ones that are out there. Like, I already have that Call of Duty Classics, but there's a few. I think there's like a Batman Arkham one that's a digital-only title for the 360. There's stuff like that. So I'm going to make sure I explore the marketplace and find any of these games I want to get digitally before they're completely delisted. So work on that. I also want to open up all my Xbox 360 consoles and make sure they get a good cleaning. So make sure I use any alcohol on them, on the circuit boards. And then I have a really awesome shop vac that I bought used at a Goodwill for like $8, and it has ability to take the hose from the front and plug it into the back, and then it turns into a giant blower and it blows out a ton of air. And so I'm going to take all the consoles outside and make sure I blow all the dust out of them and clean them, so I can make sure that my Xbox 360 consoles will be good for years. And I'll periodically be cleaning them every few years, because when I don't use my 360 consoles or any of my consoles I'm not currently using, I don't just leave them sit out and collect dust. I actually have them in nice plastic containers with the cords and the controllers, and so it helps keep them dust free. But I want to make sure that they are all clean and pristine and ready to go, and if I need to, you know, I can use some cleaning solution and clean the circuit boards and stuff like that. I am going to look in the future to maybe have a buddy replace thermal paste on them, that kind of thing. Just maintenance to do over the years to make sure I can enjoy my 360 consoles. I already bought all my backup consoles, so I have a couple of the original fat models. I've got a couple of the S models and the E model, so that way I can make sure that at least one of them will be working, that I can enjoy my collection for years to come. So if one breaks, you know, I got a backup for it. So I'm making sure I have plenty of those. I also want to make sure that I connect my Xbox 360s and make sure they are updated with the latest updates and patch files. And periodically, Microsoft and the companies will release, even for consoles that are closed down, that they stop supporting, sometimes they will release update files for those. So I want to make sure that I get all the update files and that they're all ready to go with the latest stuff, so I can make sure I can enjoy them for years, because eventually I know the servers are going to even be shut down and you won't even be able to update games or anything, which I'm also going to make sure that I update all of my games that I have to make sure they have the latest patches and stuff on my consoles, so that I can make sure I can enjoy them for years to come, because the 360 isn't like where it is today, where you're constantly needing tons of day one patches. Thank God the 360 wasn't like that, but there are a few where they did fix some issues and some frame rates and stuff, so I want to make sure that I get any of those kind of games updated as well. I want to back up all my DLC that I own onto multiple consoles, because I do have multiple consoles with hard drives, so I want to make sure that I download all the DLCs for these games on a couple consoles, so I can have like 2 or 3 backups just to be sure that, oh, this hard drive died on me. Okay, cool. I at least have the DLC backed up on this other console that I can access it as well, so I'm making sure I do that. Another big one here are save files, because I've been playing the Xbox 360 for 19 years, so I have 19 years worth of saves for hundreds of games. So I want to make sure that I back up my save files onto more than one console's hard drive. I've also been backing up some stuff to the cloud, specifically the backwards compatible games, so I can play them on the Series X. But I want to make sure that I'm backing up my save files as well, because I don't want to lose something, you know, from a game that I played 10 years ago. You know, I would be devastated to lose some of these save files, so I am backing up the save files. And I do know that there are people who back up their save files to their computer with different softwares and programs, especially if you have like a modded 360. So I'm going to look into that as the future as well, as another way to back up my save files, because I don't want to lose some of these, you know, just like my Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Like, I've got hundreds of hours, like 600 hours into those save files, and I got that backed up on literally like 4 consoles just to make sure that I don't lose that, because I would be devastated to lose all those years of me playing that game for like 15 years. You know, I would not want to lose the save file, so I'm making sure I'm backing up those save files. I've also backed up my profile, my Asiansleepy profile, onto multiple consoles, because, you know, that is what's tied to your licenses to things as well. So I want to make sure that I can ensure that I always have that profile. I have it on some of the Xbox little memory cards, USB stuff, and all the consoles have that profile. Download them too, so I have multiple backups of my profile, because that is very key for the DLC, because it's tied to your profile and not the consoles you own. So I'm making sure my profile is backed up on all the consoles that I can, and I make sure I download the newest updated version of it as well. You want to make sure you periodically go on there and update it, especially before we get to the marketplace shutting down. I also want to make sure I download all the digital titles that I have bought onto the hard drive so that they're backed up, because I know one day you won't even be able to download the stuff you paid for. You know, Microsoft says, oh yeah, well, we'll support it. Yeah, don't trust them. Don't trust any company that's going to always allow that, because you've heard so many stories lately of them shutting down because of licensing and things getting delisted, and you just can't buy it, you know, download even if you own it. Oh, sorry, it's gone. It's gone, so just fuck you, you can't have it. So I'm going to download all those to the hard drives of multiple consoles, make sure that I can always play that Call of Duty Classics, because I'm not going to rely on Microsoft to let me download it 10 years from now, because I know they're not going to keep the servers up. No matter what they say now, anything can change. Don't rely on Microsoft, don't rely on Nintendo, Sony, Sega, don't rely on any company that's going to say they're going to back up the stuff for you. Do it yourself. Do not trust them. I don't, and I will not trust them. I'm going to make sure I download all of those. Here's another big one I'd like to do in the future, is I would like to get one of my Xbox 360 consoles modded. so that I can install games and stuff on it. I'm not good at that kind of stuff, but I know buddies and stuff that do it, so I'm gonna eventually send one to a friend, pay them the money, let them fix it up, clean it up, mod it, so that I can enjoy the 360 forever in case something happens, and then maybe I can be able to download some of this content that's lost forever in the future. So I do want to get a 360 console modded as well. I know my buddy Dean and a few other people have them, and they absolutely love having a modded console because it opens up so much stuff, emulators and other games you can play on it. So I am going to get one of them modded here in the future. It's just not something I'm going to worry about this year, but in the future I'm going to make sure I get a 360 modded and have someone mod it for me properly, maybe install a bigger hard drive in it, you know, just there's all kinds of great options for it. Maybe have them clean it, new thermal paste, you know, that thing, just like to dial that console up so that it is perfect for the future. And then this is a possible thing I might want to do in the future, but it's not like I have to do it. There are some cool of those collectible special edition Xbox 360 consoles, like the Gears of War console or the Halo or the Star Wars R2-D2. I would love to get one of those, and they're not too expensive. I usually see them here locally for like $100 to $150. And so I'm thinking that if I do decide to get one or two of those, I will then sell off, like, let's say I get the Gears of War 3 S console, then I will sell off one of my regular S consoles because I don't need to have tons of them, and then use that money to help pay for that console, to recoup money for it. You know, it's not something I have to do, but it's something I'm looking to do because I do love the Xbox 360, and I would love to have a couple of those special consoles as backups. And so if I do buy them, I'll just get rid of the ones I already have and replace them with those ones. But it's not something I have to do, but it's something to look to maybe in the future, because it would be kind of cool to get the Gears of War 3 console and the Star Wars ones. Those are two particular consoles that I absolutely love and would love to have those as backup consoles. So if I do get those, I will sell off a couple of my other ones I currently have to help recoup the cost of buying those ones, but it's not something I have to do. So that's some of the stuff I'm working for my 360 collection, you know, getting the last of these games, especially because it's getting so hot now, and getting the last of them. I'm so glad that I have built up a collection. I've got over 700 titles now with the games that I've picked up, which you guys will see in my next pickups video. It's going to be a big stack of 360 titles, so I'm glad that I've been working on that goal. And I recommend to you, research these games now and get them before the marketplace shuts down, because I see some of these games just skyrocketing even more in August. You know, you'll see people talk about videos, you guys can't buy these games anymore, the marketplace shut down, so this is what's rare now, and this is expensive, and you're going to see more and more videos and more prices rise on some of the games. Some of them, you might want to wait a year or two for the big storm with 360 to kind of calm down and some of the interest and buzz to go away, but there's some games that just may become unobtainable. So what I would recommend is, like for me, some of these games were expensive, if you have extras of games or things you don't want, sell those off and then use that money to buy it. So if you find a game that's $100, but you sell a couple unwanted games that you don't want for $100, now you just got a game for pretty much nothing, or for just the cost of what those games were. So that's another thing you can do to get some of the games. Like I was able to get some of these games that were $50 or $60. Well, I sold stuff for $50 or $60, so I use that money to pay for it. So that's a great option for you guys, maybe to obtain some of these really expensive games, is sell some stuff that you don't want, and then use that money to get something you do want to get for your 360 collection. I'm going to also make sure you know that I go on that marketplace and download all the DLC before it's gone, download all the digital games before they're gone, update all these games as well, and also make sure that I open up the consoles and clean them, because you want to make sure your consoles are staying in optimal condition. You know, letting them sit in a cabinet for 10 years and collecting dust in the fan, it starts choking the console and it gets harder for it to work, and eventually it can make them burn out and not work. So you want to make sure you keep them clean and periodically open them up. You can get those little compressed air things. I don't know if I've got one here, but you know, you can get the can, but I like using the shop vac, because you can vacuum the console and you can blow the air out and you don't have to worry about the can freezing and like shutting off. You know, just have continuous air, and you can use that. I do it on my PC too. I do that every few months. I clean this stuff, and I've been cleaning my Series X as well, take it outside and dust it out. It'd be crazy to see how much dust blows out, because dust is just everywhere in your home and just in the environment and stuff. So make sure I get those cleaned as well. And then, you know, I also talked about maybe getting one of them modded, because I want to make sure I can ensure that my 360s, I want to be able to play this 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now. I want to be able to still play and enjoy my Xbox 360 collection. So that's the stuff I'm working towards, preparing my Xbox 360 collection for the future. I would love to know, though, if you guys have any goals, or if you guys are doing anything similar for your Xbox 360 collection. You know, are you guys buying up some of the games you want? Are you getting your DLC? Are you backing up your save files? Are you backing up your games? Are you buying multiple consoles? Are you maybe getting one of your consoles modded? I would love to hear from you guys, so feel free to leave a comment. I love reading your guys' wonderful comments. If you guys want to film a video response, that would be awesome too, as I do love watching your guys' video responses as well. I just ask you guys, let me know about it, because I would hate to miss it. YouTube doesn't always tell me when somebody uploads a video response. I would hate to miss it, so I will watch it, you know, and then I will post a link to your guys' video response and leave it as a comment on this video, and then other people can check it out as well. But definitely, I had a lot of fun talking about this topic. You know, I love the Xbox 360. It's my second favorite console of all time, right after the original Xbox. It's so amazing. You know, it's got a big, huge library of games. I love that people love the console as well. Like I said, you know, it kind of sucks that because there's so much demand for it, that prices are going up, but I think it's awesome that the 360 is loved by so many people, because it is such an amazing console. It's my favorite 7th gen console that was released. Between the PS3, the Wii, and the 360, I always would have to go with the 360. I just love the console. You know, I've had it since day one, launch night, went to midnight launch, so I've been playing this console for 19 years, and I absolutely just love it, and I love talking about it. And it's the console I think you guys should enjoy as well. If you've never played a 360, now is a great time to get in. You know, you can get consoles. There are some games that are going up in price, but there's a lot of them that are still reasonable. You'll never have to worry about Gears of War 1, 2, 3, or Judgment, or Halo 3 or 4 going up to $100. You know, they're always going to be affordable. Your Forza games, there's so many. A majority of the library, you're not going to have to worry. There's just millions of copies of these games, and they're never going to be skyrocketing in price. So there's always going to be something for you to obtain. The ones that are going to be hard to obtain are going to be like your import tuner challenges and things like that. Games that had a small print run, or games that just weren't that popular when they were released. Those are the kind of games that might be unobtainable. But like I mentioned, you know, maybe you can sell some stuff that you have from your collection currently that you don't want, and then use that money to pay for it. But would love for you guys to participate in this, though. Thanks for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day. And Sleepy, we'll see you guys next time.